Since its inception, immigrants have been the lifeblood of the State of Israel. The challenge for those involved in settling and supporting new immigrants into Israeli society is great and demanding. Israel's liberal religious movements, both progressive and conservative, are at the forefront of this challenge to ensure both the continuity of the Jewish people and a strong Israel. The funds which the Australian Progressive Trust raises through the UIA go to numerous programs that support new immigrants. One organisation which typifies the work of the Progressive Trust in Israel is LACO, the Legal Advocacy Centres for Olim. Nikki Maor, an Australian lawyer and herself an immigrant to Israel, is the director of LACO.
It was clear to me that if I make Aliyah, there's only one real aim to make Aliyah. It's not just to go and live in Israel and become another Joe Cohen in Israel, but it was that I'd be able to look back on what I've done and said, I've done my little bit to improve the way life is.
LACO assists new immigrants resolve problems relating to their absorption and integration into Israeli society in matters involving the law of return, entitlement to Aliyah, marriage, divorce, burial, conversion and social benefits. LACO was established in 1992 by the Israel Religious Action Centre, the advocacy arm of the Israel Movement for Progressive Judaism.
We're not an organization that competes in a market of lots of other free legal aid organizations. We're the only ones in this country who give free legal aid from the very beginning to the very end, from the beginning complaint to the Supreme Court, to every complaint that walks in the door.
I think one of the best things that the Reform movement did was to say our gift to the new immigrants is to give them some sort of answer. An answer that won't be go find a lawyer. The gift that we can give is that somebody can come in with a problem and get an answer, even if that answer means taking it to the Supreme Court without having to pay for it. That way also we believed that we'd be able to solve not only the particular person's problem but raise issues that need to be solved on a broader level.
Over the coming week, we will follow the life of Nikki Maor. We will see a window into the lives of just a small number of the tens of thousands of immigrants helped by Nikki and LACO.
Bye-bye.
Today, Nikki has been called to an absorption centre near Haifa. The centre houses almost 500 recent Ethiopian immigrants and is used to ease their transition into Israeli society.
Okay, this is the absorption centre up front.
Nikki arrives at the centre to find 80 immigrants awaiting her. This is more than double the figure she expected. They are here to sign affidavits to correctly register their date of birth. Ethiopia does not operate according to the Gregorian calendar, which is used in Israel and the West. As a result, Israeli clerks do not know how to correctly register the birth dates of incoming Ethiopian immigrants. Having evidence of one's correct date of birth affects many entitlements, from entry into kindergarten and school to pensions and other services for the aged. Nikki is an expert in converting Ethiopian birth dates and, as a lawyer, can correct many of these mistakes on the spot. Outside, a new busload of immigrants arrives from the airport. There are joyful scenes as families and friends are reunited. This woman had hoped her daughter might be on the bus, but she is not. She desperately hopes that Nikki will be able to help her.
בוקר טוב. מה, את יודעת בת כמה היא?
שרה? סלסה. 60, בת 60. בת 60.
כאילו שהיא ילידת 50, זה אומר שהיא בת 56.
כן.
Not only is her birth date not registered correctly, but she's left a daughter, which is much more important to her in Ethiopia. And she said that the authorities said that her daughter should come, but when it came to getting on the buses to going, that she was left behind. So we'll have to try and find out what we can do to help here.
It's been a long day for Nikki, but the stream of Ethiopian immigrants is virtually unending. Ironically, Few such problems would exist with the development of a computer program that could convert these dates electronically. Nikki is able to assist to develop such a program, but funding is needed to make this possible.
The immigrants have so much to give. So much to give this country. The potential amongst the Ethiopian Jewry, which has such a long way to go, is there. We have to be there to help it along, otherwise Israel's going to go backwards and not go forwards.
This week, Nikki is also appearing before the Supreme Court, the highest court in Israel. She is representing Natalia Tosevich, whose two daughters immigrated to Israel from the Ukraine. Natalia came to Israel on a family visit and then decided to make Aliyah, but the state raised questions over her proof of Judaism. As a result, the citizenship of her daughters is now also under threat.
On the day that we invited them to come in to give all their evidence as to why they believe that they are right and the state's wrong, the mother was arrested for staying in the country illegally and was taken to deportation. If we hadn't served the petition within 48 hours, the mother would be on her way back to overseas without a chance of coming back into Israel.
אנחנו לא הרגשנו דבר כזה, אנחנו להפך, הרגשנו שאנחנו שונים שם. וכולם, כאילו, אתה הולך ברחוב ואתה מרגיש שאחרי הגב שלך קיבלו אותנו, אנשים פשוטים קיבלו אותנו.
כי אז צריכים לבדוק את המסמכים, זו אחת הסיבות שביקשו דחייה, כי כל הזמן הם אמרו מסמכים מזויפים, מסמכים זה, ולא הביאו שום דבר שמראה שמסמכים מזויפים. מצד שני, אנחנו באנו
и должны как бы тянуть за собой.
ממה שלמדו את סבתא שלה מילדות, כאילו היא שמעה מכל יהודי צריך לעזור ליהודי אחר. טוב שיש אנשים טובים שעוזרים לנו.
This case has now been going for over 2 years. The state is currently re-examining its position and further hearings are scheduled for May.
The question of who is a Jew was readdressed today by a 9-member panel of High Court justices who heard petitions from individuals who underwent reform and conservative conversions in Israel. The petitioners are calling for official recognition as Jews under the law of return, which allows Jews and those with Jewish parents or grandparents to settle in Israel and gain citizenship.
Today's hearing gave the state a little bit more time to try and offer a compromise that would be acceptable to all streams of Judaism.
The question of non-Orthodox conversions and Aliyah is the subject of many cases for LACO. Nikki spends much of her time presenting cases right up to the Supreme Court on what is a very controversial topic. All reform converts are potential clients, and Nikki liaises closely with the Reform Beth Din. The chance of reform converts being registered as Jewish and receiving Israeli citizenship rests almost entirely on Nikki's shoulders.
אם אנחנו מנסים סתם ככה באמת בנושא של ליל הסדר, לבדוק את רמת הידיעות שלך. עכשיו, פשוט מה את יכולה להוציא החוצה מהזיכרון שלך?
אז מרור.
מרור.
חרוסת.
אוקיי, יפה.
תודה רבה.
The next day, Nikki is in the district court dealing with a family reunion case.
אני מקווה שבית משפט יחליט חיובי.
זה יהיה. אנחנו נזכה בסוף, לא תאמיני לי.
לא, אני מאמינה לך. ממש שמחים שמצאתם אותך.
כן. כי היא דואגת, באמת דואגת
כן, והיא עושה את העבודה שלך מכל הלב.
כן.
Today is Friday. Much of Israel slows down as people prepare for Shabbat. For Nikki, the day is used to address the many other commitments in her life beyond legal aid, including teaching democracy at her children's school and coaching immigrant lawyers to pass their qualification exam.
One of the other things that I do in my non-existent free time is help start a new congregation in Hod HaSharon with a group of other families. Most of them are also either new immigrants or here without family. We're creating a congregation that is a congregation for us to not only to pray in, but also have a support group with us.
איפה? ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השם.
I think my kids know that their mother's slightly crazy. They know that my phone's always open, whether it's people calling me at 4 in the morning saying, I've just been arrested, help me, or whether it's people calling me for every half an hour, it means that the day is run on a timer. Life's full.
Despite Nikki's unmatched energy, LACO still faces key challenges, the foremost of which is the lack of funding that led to its near closure 4 years ago.
The question of our funding is a question that arises every year. And until we have some sort of strong backbone of people who say this is a program that is an inherent part to the Jewish nation of Israel, and we're going to support it like we support the JNF or like we support anything else that is something that has to be there for the state to continue to run the way we would like it to be run, we're going to be constantly in the state of closure, which makes it very hard to get good lawyers in order for these immigrants to get the help that I believe they need.
LACO now has 3 centres in Beersheba, Haifa and Tel Aviv, but it closed the Jerusalem office through lack of funds. Through its centres, it assists 6,000 Olim each year and over 70,000 since it opened its doors. Its work is critical to creating a fair and just society for Israelis of all religious backgrounds and has won numerous landmark cases in the Supreme Court for the progressive movement. The UAA Progressive Trust, through the Israel Movement for Progressive Judaism, has created and supported numerous progressive and pluralist community centres, outreach, educational and social justice programs, all of which facilitate new immigrants integrating into the community. Some specific programs include Noah Telem, a youth movement, Havaya summer camps for disadvantaged immigrant and other Israeli youth, Ufaratzta, a project which encourages new Israelis to find a framework of community involvement in progressive and pluralistic Judaism, the Israel Religious Action Centre, which includes LACO. Contributing to new immigrants' successful absorption into Israeli society is both an obligation and a mitzvah.